Welcome to Drone Brothers Radio, where we explore the crossroads of drone innovation and the construction industry. Join us as we share insights, stories, and strategies shaping the future from the sky and the ground up.
Kevin, hello and welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join me today on our Drone Brothers Radio podcast. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's start off. If you want to just give us a quick name and company you work for, and just a brief introduction, please.
No problem. My name's Kevin Bromenshenk. I work for Flintco. I'm the VDC Director here, and implemented the VDC department about 2010, and just kind of worked our way from nothing for a department, quite frankly. I worked out of the Austin office for about 10 years and just generated and grew a team of people. We have about 8 people now on the VDC team here at Flintco, and we just continue to grow, and our company flourishes because I think BIM is a big essential part of what we do, and it helps us with great quality work for our clients.
Give me a little kind of geographic boundaries. How many offices does Flintco have? You guys nationwide or mostly in the kind of western part of the United States?
Flintco was acquired by a company called Alberici. So they're our parent company. They're out of St. Louis. Flintco originated, they were the largest Native American-owned company in the world at one point in time before we were bought and acquired by Alberici. Flintco and Alberici still operate independently, but under one umbrella. We have offices for Flintco down in the southern region of the United States, as far north as Denver, as far south as Houston, and in between we have Austin, Springdale, Arkansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Memphis, Tennessee. So we're quite busy in that part of the country. We do largely, mostly higher education, a lot of medical, sporting facilities, high rises, and a lot of in between there too. So I think the furthest we've been up north would be, and as closest to where I live physically, would be South Dakota, and we've gone as far south as Mexico City.
Nice. So you got kind of a unique background. You came from the architectural world. So you've been in the space for a few decades. What drew you to the industry? Or give us a little background on how you came to the VDC world.
I was always interested in construction, but my dad and I worked a lot outside. He was a ranching background, so I learned what hard work and heat and cold meant to work outside, and but I was naturally interested in art. I saw my mom put together a floor plan once when I was a little kid. I just was amazed that plan represented our basement at the time, and I started 3-dimensionally imagining stuff at that point on. I didn't understand what architecture was until a counselor told me about it in middle school when I was transferring into high school. He explained to me what architects do, and because of art, my interest in art and construction, I learned that I could draw buildings instead of build buildings. But as I developed in through architecture school and into my tenure in a design firm, I decided I really found that in my gut I wanted to build or be a part of the build, and so I started seeking construction career path. It's been over 20 years ago now, and found myself following a job opportunity down to Austin, which then through an owner's rep in a grocery chain, and then it just kind of evolved to where I had the opportunity to approach a construction firm like Flintco, and they took a chance on me being a pre-con manager for a while, and there was a need for the development of 3D modeling and BIM and coordination as a GC, and it seemed like a natural thing for me to do given my background in architecture.
And that's kind of not the normal. I mean, that's not the normal flow to go from architectural to the VDC world, what's the normal path to get to the VDC world?
I would say today it's through a bachelor's in construction sciences. They offer, you know, building information modeling courses. They start talking a lot about the workflows of what a GC or maybe even a subcontractor would do to interact with this type of platform and this sort of career path. But literally in 2010, when we started doing it, we had nothing. We had nothing to go off of except for Penn State's publishing what they had done on the internet. So I started reading about that and just started reading their BIM execution plans and finding out, and then just falling back on my organizational skills on managing architecture projects and consultants in a digital environment through AutoCAD and MicroStation, and just applied those principles of how we could organize our file systems and with our trades, and began, like, the principles are pretty similar there for utilizing Navisworks and appending models together, federating models together.
Got
That's
it.
just kind of how it started.
As a director of VDC at Flintco, what responsibilities do you carry today compared to kind of earlier roles? What does the day in the life of a VDC director look like?
The title kind of defines what you do. It really
Yeah.
is. I plan a lot. I'm directing multiple people on decisions they need to make. I'm a cheerleader. I'm a counselor. I'm forecasting, budgeting, keeping eyes, on the horizon for new projects coming into the department that we can support for our operations teams. But fundamentally, it was like critically important that I went through coordinating projects, or the design processes that I went through, to have the background and the foundation for the processes we have in place today. And if it hadn't been for me doing those sort of things, I don't know how I could be a director today, because of all the hard lessons I've learned over the years. And it was good that I learned them on my own, because I didn't sink any major ships with a whole bunch. I didn't take a lot of people down with me, but I was pretty nimble, able to make mistakes, learn from them quickly, make changes, and start implementing the processes that we have in today. So having that foundation and then establishing those processes for my team to follow today, teaching them and coaching them what looks right, what looks wrong, and then giving them a process and a plan to follow, is primarily what my role is today, is to establish the major plan, the baselines, and give people a direction, and then remind them of the standards that we want to measure ourselves against, and keep us on track of making decisions for the right reasons.
What titles in a GC rely most on the VDC? Project engineers, project manager? Who are the people that are relying on you guys the most?
Our client is our operations teams. So the people who are out in the field building, that's our immediate touch point for a client. We serve the client who pays for the building, but our role is a supporting role to our operations staff. So the engineers on site who report to the project managers and superintendents, it's our job as a VDC group to coordinate the building efficiently, effectively. We need to take the chaos that we might have to start with and find patterns and harmony and continuity. We have to know codes. We have to know, construction sequence. All of those sorts of things apply to how we go about coordinating a building. And it's our goal that our operations team concentrate on construction, that craftsmen concentrate on the tangibles that they're putting in place, and they never have to tear it out and become frustrated with getting behind, or the frustration of just tearing out something that you poured your heart and soul into becomes a factor too. So we stand on the fact that good coordination breeds excellent quality, and that's our goal, and that's how we serve.
Why is it important for the construction industry to invest in a VDC and BIM management? And does every construction company have a VDC large and small, or is a VDC something that's specific to like really large GCs?
I would say, the direct answer is if you're in a commercial market and you're a larger firm doing 5 million and above, even those are fairly small projects these days, but even a $5 million job might be better off using some sort of BIM coordination, whether it just be through your subs leading that effort. But if you want to be a relevant general contractor or a relevant larger subcontractor, I think it's imperative and foundational that you have a BIM department or a VDC department. And we've gone a step further to identify, some firms would have a VDC director like myself, and even I know to this day they're responsible for everything. And there was a time where I was too. You'd be responsible for the coordination, flying drones, implementing and researching new technologies, doing laser scans, like physically going here and there, and then trying to, you'd be putting in like 80-hour weeks, trying to keep up with all of it. And instead of doing that, we've recognized champions in our company that corporately support all of the technologies that fall under the umbrella of construction support services. And
Okay.
VDC right now, we just concentrate on coordination, and we have another department that concentrates on drones, reality capture, all of that sort of thing.
Is it possible to outsource a VDC BIM department? Is that possible to outsource for those that don't want to invest fully in one, or is that not even a possibility to do?
I think if you're a subcontractor, you could, there's a lot of cases where we have subcontractors that we lead through coordination that outsource their modeling efforts, but they're led by us as the general contractor. I would say as a general contractor, it wouldn't be in your best interest to outsource that, in my opinion. It's your contract to manage. They're your subs to manage. And it's your skin that's in the game here to make sure that the passing the responsibility off to someone else who may not have the leverage to organize the other subs to follow a coordination effort, as an example of asking your HVAC contractor to lead the rest of the subs. They wouldn't technically be in contract with that sub unless you kind of verbally told them. You might even write it in their contract, but it's just the contractual leverage is really there for the general contractor to lead and take the vested interest that they should in leading a really good coordination effort. So
Got it.
outsourcing it for a general contractor, just not a great move in my opinion.
Got
So
it.
in-house would be a better solution and kind of
Okay.
more mandatory.
All right. Well, having been doing this for so long, you've led teams through big shifts in how construction gets done. What's been the most surprising lesson about leading through kind of all the technological changes, especially what's going on today? Things are moving so fast.
Yeah, well, given the fact that you brought up earlier, it was a pretty unique career path for me. It's truly amazing what you can do by just showing up and trying, and that's how I got to where I'm at. A lot of the things that we've implemented have been learned through conferences, listening well to people's problems, and understanding where the wheel's squeaking, where is the oil needed, going out and finding and researching that small little technology that you could implement to solve that problem, and then build off of that and go research and try to find the next solution for the next problem that you're listening to from your clients. The biggest shifts probably were, when I first started with Flintco, we were still looking, majority of our work was on 2D paper plans printed from PDFs. We didn't have cloud servers. We didn't have access to our plans at all times on our phones or iPads. We evolved to hosting a cloud server and hosting our plans. And then I went to hyperlinking those plans to, coordinating our models. And then how do we've evolved to different management softwares and, just the dynamics of being able to compare a model to a laser scan through reality capturing to models. The evolution since 2010 from when I first started, you're right. The learning curve is steep, and it's fast, um, and you can't implement it all. So you got to be very smart and, again, solve problems for your clients to bring value to those things that you want to implement. And when those things happen, then technology takes hold and it's a usable tool. But we've never really been bleeding edge contractor for technology. Very diligent about making sure the problem exists. There's a cry for help, and we address it with a technology that takes something off someone's plate.
As you know, technology, and especially now, I've never seen it in my. I mean, I'm 62 years old and seen things change pretty quick over the years. But man, it's never changed this fast in my life. A lot of times people are hesitant to make changes. So, kind of when you're introducing new technology and workflows and tools, how do you engage the field team and trades who are more accustomed to kind of the traditional, we've been doing it this way for so long? How do you engage?
The challenge for me and most of my team is we are, behind a screen often. And so the smartest thing that we can do, because we're not like around that person all the time, but if I were, I would be listening very close, because even people who have done things the same way for many, many years aren't immune to frustration. And there's something about their job that is frustrating to them. It's either not being done fast enough, not being done accurately enough. And so listening to where their frustrations lie is a really smart thing to do. Also, I've found the sociology behind finding the person who is the most, the most against something can easily sway the other direction as extreme as they once were for a piece of a technology if they see that there's value to it and it solves one of their problems. So your biggest adversary can often be, a pretty strong force in the workforce. People listen to them. They've gotten where they are because of how they speak, what they do. And if you can convince them that you're solving one of their frustrations, they will go ahead of you and advocate for the technologies you're wanting to put in place for them.
Nice. Are the kids coming out of school with a much better grasp on technology? How do you hire for tech fluency in today's construction workforce? How do you find people that are, or do you have to look for people that are tech savvy, or just teach them on the job?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I struggle with that because I want to give a lot of opportunity to tech savvy people, and there's a lot of them that are right out of school and they're learning the software that we're employing and using every single day, and they're really good at it. The tough part about that is the construction background that has to go with it. So if we really want to have a person hit the ground running, and coordinate a job, that understanding of what looks right and what doesn't look right, that just comes from field experience or design experience, and it actually comes from, unfortunately, painful experiences that we've all been a part of. So I'm more apt to look for somebody with constructability knowledge who has some design empathy, meaning like they're not going to turn a blind eye or a critical eye to a person's design, because I know how hard it is to start with a blank sheet of paper and create something from nothing. And I know that person who does that is very smart, very diligent, but doesn't have all the answers when it all hits the paper. So I have a lot of empathy for that. And then but also a person who takes a lot of pride in learning, and situational awareness is so valuable, and it almost trumps the technical knowledge. I think I can teach people the software because I learned it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty well self-taught, and what I brought to the table in many times was an understanding of our clients and our workflows and just constructability and design, that those things come with a lot of time. And so I'm oftentimes looking for architectural people who just might be ready for a change and want to get into construction, and take a different path. I'm often looking for superintendents who are a little bit tired from the field and want to come in and start working in the office and continue their integration with the projects, because there's a lot of ownership that our team takes in construction because of how much we coordinate it. Yeah, I'd love to build my branch more, and we do and entertain and have had interns, that sort of thing. And so yeah, I think today that kids actually have a lot of technical background. It's just that they don't have a lot of construction experience.
Yeah.
So it's hard to stand out with the
Okay.
curriculums they have, because they all check the box very, very well.
Got it. All right. I'd be negligent if I didn't ask about drones. So
Yeah.
what's the place for? Are you guys using them, and what are some of the benefits you're getting from drone tech?
We are using drones extensively, and we have been for a number of years. Um, I consulted Jason Schrader, the director of the Construction Field Technologies Department here at Flintco, and um, asked him about these questions, and he was helping me with some of the technical stuff that I may have not be so privy to today. But we're using them on just about any new build that we're doing. We're utilizing drones. We're overlaying contract documents to fact check the building layout against the real environment. We're using drones to capture sites when we're in a pitch for an interview where we want to show the new building and the site logistics on the real site. The ability to back check our building layout, our piers, if they're going in the right place, culverts, curb cuts, you name it. The overlay of the contract documents with a drone will sometimes raise that red flag to where we need to go get another instrument that might be more accurate, go back to the survey and double check something before we get too far down the road. And so drones they're used so much right now, and the data that we get is so much more powerful than the aerial photographs we once had years past. The dynamics of drones are incredible. They're a lot safer to fly these days. Training pilots is pretty affordable and quick. Once we get a pilot on site that can do that sort of thing, it's the number of flights are endless. They can do them whenever they need to. And then our construction field technologies team trains them on how to utilize the data, and the platforms that house the flight captures are really incredible pieces of web-based software too. So that it's super valuable and an essential tool for us.
So for companies working in the drone data capture and or marketing space like us,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give when partnering with a GC or VDC team to ensure that our deliverables are aligned with what the teams are actually using?
I thought that this was a good question, and the same principles I apply to what value do I want to bring to my clients, the operations team, is listening well to why they want to use a drone. But it would be in your best interest to what are all the ways they could use the drone. So if all they need is an aerial photograph and those sorts of things, you would have the solution for them. But if they're struggling um, with the parametrics of a drone map and the real time kinematics technology, that how they're handling that data and those captures, you would need to bring to the table what are the best practices for them to employ, what sort of markers do they have to have on site and maintain. So elevating their knowledge a little bit about their role in the drone capturing. Let's just say that Drone Brothers is flying for that contractor, and they're only seeing a small slice of the capabilities. It would behoove you to bring to their attention a good menu of things, not necessarily in a complete upsell fashion, but like what could they actually use this data for and how easy they can employ it in their workflow. I am naive to all the things that drones can do even, and so it's just nice that a service like yourselves and professionals like yourselves would educate their clients on everything that the drone is capable of doing.
That's what I tell my team here, we spend a lot of time, and most of our time is spent on the education process. In fact, 2026, we're going to be building out a LMS model for our clients to keep educating the pilots that are flying for us and educate our clients. Because once you guys know what tools are in your tool chest, there's never been a superintendent that we've ever brought on that's we've taught him about mapping or stockpile volumetrics that said, that's the silliest thing. I'll never use that tool again. Let's just go back to pretty pictures only. They're smart guys out in the field. Once they know all these tools and how they can help them save time and save money, they never go back to doing it the old-fashioned way once they're educated. So, yeah,
It's encouraging to hear that you all have that background and a solid foundation for educating our field staff and even our staff as well. So
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
All right. What's been one of your favorite experiences implementing new technology or workflows over the years?
Today, I'm super proud of the team we formed. There was a time where you kind of want to hide what you knew to make yourself relevant and make yourself a value. But with the volume that our many general contractors are capable of doing, like teaching people and empowering them, and then serving your clients, seeing workflows overcome the biggest challenges that someone could throw at you. And if you have a solid workflow and a team that's executing that, even the biggest challenges just don't raise your blood pressure. I'm really proud of that. And that often happens with our team. Like we're doing some incredibly large work and complicated work. And because of the standards and workflows that we've employed over the years, and didn't shy away from, going through the work of learning our projects well through those processes and cutting corners and trying to take the easy route to the quick solution. That's one of the things that I'm ultimately the most proud of. But I see people on my team excel at what they do, and they love their work, and it's apparent that they're taking a look around and appreciating how awesome the job that they have is to contribute to the success of a project, to be able to be a part and have your name a part of that team as much as the folks who are out there daily. They're just such a critical solution to it. And so I would say that the people that we've grown on our team and how our whole construction support services department has grown has really been the best part about it. Because if you were doing this all alone, you would be pretty frustrated and burnt out, quite frankly. And seeing other people succeed at this and enjoying it as much as I do, it's really fulfilling.
So, as new people are coming into the construction profession, what are the kind of the top skills or things what should they be learning to, in your opinion, kind of top 5 or 6 skills they should be learning as they enter the space?
A good work ethic separates everybody, because like I said, there's many curriculums right now that they're teaching Revit, they're teaching Navisworks, they may be even teaching Revisto, AutoCAD. It's important to know SketchUp, CM Builder. It's important to consider learning and getting certified to fly a drone, taking like even hand drawing classes, understanding concepts of composition, and computer science classes as kind of a foundation. But above and beyond that, to stand out from all of that, because all graduates in those curriculums will have those boxes checked. What did you do in the summertime? Meaning, did you form some concrete with your dad? Have you built a shed with your grandpa? Did you go out and start a lawn mowing business? What sort of work ethic can you show that sets you apart from people checking the box from the curriculum that they've been told to take? That is what we look for at Flintco many times when we're looking at a class of people who are all straight A students. They're all outstanding, super well spoken, will look you in the eye, shake your hand, and be one of the top human beings you could probably ever meet. And really, what we're looking for is what's your work ethic outside of that? What initiative have you taken that really kind of bridges and sets you apart from the rest? So it's a tough world to set yourself apart, but then again, it's really not. If you just kind of if you go out and show some initiative. I mean, I can remember a time we hired a guy because he showed up in his work gear that he was slinging tires at a tire shop. And he came to our interview that way, and it was just like, this guy knows how to work. He works hard. He's dedicated. He 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 made sacrifices. He's making a sacrifice to arrange to come here and talk to us. And kind of some of the curriculum stuff faded away when it came to looking at that person versus someone else. So that would be my advice.
So if someone kind of comes into the industry the way you came, not going to school specifically for VDC world, where do you learn this stuff? Where do you learn about Revit and AutoCAD and SketchUp? Other online courses to take? You can kind of self-study this stuff. Does Flintco provide tools for people to learn this stuff?
Yeah, I would say, I took a Revit course when I hired on with Flintco. At the time, I was kind of a part of the whole evolution. When I was going through architecture school, we took 1/4 of AutoCAD. The rest of it was hand drawing, learning perspective, drawing by hand, rendering skills, all that kind of stuff. And so I just came along with the evolution of it to where you joined a firm. They taught you, through the pace of putting together working drawings, you had to learn CAD that way. Today, YouTube, Google,
Yeah.
a lot of things can be learned in 3-minute or less snippets. And just talking recently with somebody, and they were wondering the same thing. How would I learn this? And I could say you could learn the basics of any of these software programs through endless YouTube videos, just to kind of get familiar with the vocabulary and that sort
Yeah.
of thing without spending the money at all on a single class. And then for me, I will teach you how to meet our standards, how to organize a clash detection through the most complex buildings or easiest buildings. We will teach you that, and we have learning criteria that we've captured and have available for people to step by step go through that process. We do a lot of front end planning when we hire somebody. We've got their first 30, 60, and 90 days planned out for them, and each step of what we want them to meet in which time frame and what document or video to look at in order to accomplish that. So we've evolved quite a bit to be able to teach people our standards, but I would say there is so much out there right now for free for anybody to tap into whenever they feel like it. Just take some initiative.
You can learn anything on YouTube, and if you can't learn on YouTube, you can go ask ChatGPT to tell you how to do it. Are you guys getting into AI? How is AI playing a role in what the VDC departments are doing these days?
It's my perception that the use of the cloud platforms that many of us are utilizing through our software companies, that's no mistake. I mean, I definitely feel like they're harvesting a lot of information from well-coordinated projects, and the potential of them one year saying, hey, we've scoured all of your coordination projects that you've loaded to our websites, and if you give us a healthcare project with this type of structure and these type of ceiling heights and overhead spaces, we'll search millions of solutions that have come before that you all did the hard way, and we'll pick you one that you can start from. So I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. What I do think is, like, I need a human being to be the gatekeeper of that sort of solution, like knowing that a computer won't know the pains of any one of those solutions, but a human being will, because
They've experienced it.
Their experience will keep them from making that same mistake twice. We're utilizing AI a lot like other people are in, assisting with checking your tone and writing and helping with, a more professional, polished draft that you came up with to kind of get things quicker in order versus painstakingly, going through 5 drafts to get it just right.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things are happening today quite often. Note taking during meetings, such like what we're on right now, to transcribe the meeting minutes that 20, 40 people are sitting on a Zoom call and going over design
Yeah.
and coordination, for that thing to transcribe what people said, summarize it.
Yeah. Who promised to do what?
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of burden off of the person trying to facilitate a meeting, run a model, take notes in a model, and be aware of the next thing in line. Taking notes for a meeting is difficult to do when you're doing that as well. So
Yeah.
AI helps a tremendous amount there.
Perfect. Final question. So looking back so far in your career, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself or someone brand new to the that's entering the BIM VDC space?
I would follow some of the steps I took, not by my choice, but um, always gravitate to where always gravitate away from the crowd a little bit. There's value to be found in what people choose not to do or they don't want to do. It might be harder than what the rest are doing. In my case, being in a construction company, I was laughed at several times. What could I possibly use an architecture person for in a construction firm? And it turns out that not a single person in my company at that moment in time really understood building information modeling to any sort of degree, let alone or CAD, and how to organize all of that. And so it was an island all to myself there for a while. Wasn't easy, wasn't comfortable, and didn't have a lot of support. Not that people didn't support me doing it, but I didn't have anybody to go to ask questions. So I would say, gravitate to where people are shying away from, and go find that as the need, and see if you can serve it. And don't shy away from hard work and big challenges. And again, show up and try. It's amazing what you can do.
Do the hard stuff.
Do the hard stuff. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, thank you for this. I appreciate you taking the time to go over this. Hopefully this wasn't too painful.
No, it was very enjoyable. I mean, it's probably like that first date where you thought you had it was a great conversation, and it was because you did all the talking. So I feel pretty good about things right now.
Oh, good.